Well, hello world. Here I am, coding with Chris. Chris? I don't even know my own name. Coding with Chris. Welcome. We're doing kind of an episode 0 here. We're just gonna do tech test. We are going to talk about the project we're gonna work on and how to set things up. We're gonna do a little bit of tweaking to the dev environment here, some things that I haven't set up yet, and just kind of go on a tour of the dev environment. So if you have questions along the way, feel free to ask. I want the whole point of this thing to be... hey, Colin. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by, so I don't feel like a lonely idiot. I want the point of this thing to be that we go slow and steady, so all levels of programmer are comfortable here. We can ask questions. We can learn from each other. We can dig into weird things. We can practice PRs on this code, because I'm going to open source it. I'll show you how to get there, and it's not going to be a project that's important to anybody or anything, so we can do PRs without fear. We'll do code reviews and stuff live on the show as we go, and just generally have a fun time. So that's where this show is heading. So let's take a look first at kind of what we got set up here so far. So I'm running this in Linux in a virtual box because that's just the way I like to do it. I like programming in Linux, so that's what I'm going to do. I've got the thing set up under apps under my home directory, and I'm going to call the project Goblin Grinder. That'll be understandable in a minute when I start describing the project, but that's what we're going to do with this. So that's where we are, and I'm going to be using VS Code as the IDE. So you can see here I've already done the basic setup of the app. We've got all the basic Rails things here. I haven't done anything terribly fun yet, just all the mundane setup crap. But I thought it would be a good idea to kind of take a brief look at the gem file and see what things we're using. We've got a lot of the standard stuff in here: Bootsnap, CSS bundling, JBuilder, JS bundling. We're using Postgres as a backend, of course, because why would you not? Currently, we're set up with Rails 7.03, so we're pretty up to date. Naming is hard, and he picked a good one. You like that, huh? All right. Rather than devise, I like sorcery for authentication. So that's what we'll be using. It's more lightweight, and there's more stuff that we do to it to make it our own, rather than customizing devise. So that's just my authentication of choice, but we'll get into setting all that up. And then there's not a whole lot else in our main stuff that's deviating from just standard setup. I've put in Bullet, Solar Graph. Solar Graph is for code completion and getting around in the IDE for VS Code. There's a plugin for that. The Web Console and Mac Rack Mini Profiler are pretty standard. And then I've got kind of a standard set of development and test things that I do. See Breakman, Bybug, Factory Bot, all the Pry things, all the Rubocop things, and I use Ruby Critic, Skunk, and I run under Spring because I can't stand for every time I want to run a test to have to wait for the Rails environment to load again. That drives me nuts, so I run under Spring. And then we've got Capybara, Database Cleaner, Email Spec, JSON Spec, all the shoulda stuff, Simple Cov, all the standard things. So we're not deviating a whole lot from standard. The only thing that I've got that's pretty non-standard is sorcery, but that's just an authentication gem. Get into that. So this is kind of my basic setup to do most Rails projects. We are going to run on Ruby 3.1.2, at least to start. Update as things go. So this is all checked in. Another thing I like to look at is the git ignore. just to make sure. Now, Rails has kind of a standard get ignore that you can download. In fact, they put a standard get ignore in here when you start a project, but I haven't really changed anything here. So this is all the standard stuff except for VS Code and coverage. I put those things in there so I wouldn't have that stuff coming in because I don't need it in source control. So that's all pretty straightforward stuff. Not hard to get around in. Let's take a look at the GitHub. So this is my GitHub. I am Terrain Noob. That's my online avatar, my presence, and Goblin Grinder. This is public repository. Should have access to it. Get into it now if you want to. We'll be working on this as kind of a community learning project. So I encourage people to make PRs to this, and we'll use that as some show material to go over the PRs and talk about not only the code in them, but also how the PRs are formatted and what changes you might want to make when you're submitting PRs and things like that. We'll deal with the README stuff to kind of start explaining this out, because you should have a good README for your projects. This is just the standard one that Rails spits out when you set up a new project. And yes, nobody likes to do documentation. Well, programmers don't like to do documentation, but you need to. So we will. Today, we're not going to do a lot of programming. We're going to do some project planning, talk about the project, and I'm going to play with some tech toys here just to make sure everything is working good. And to make sure that, you guys know how things are going to go.
Respect my authority!
That's right. So, one of the things I want to do to finish setting up the dev that I haven't done yet is I want to install Starship. It's cross-shell prompt. I really like it because it kind of shows you environmental stuff in your shell, which is really nice. It's a PowerShell type thing. But it's cross-shell, so you can actually use this. I've got it set up on my Mac for work, and I actually use it in Linux and stuff, but I haven't set it up in this environment yet because this is a brand new environment, and I forgot to put it in there. So anyway, first thing we got to do is get nerd fonts installed. So let's download us a nerd font. I'm not sure which one I want. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's just make this a quick and painless process and do the cut and paste. Oh crap. I do that. I haven't set up my shortcuts right in here. Oh, I did that here. Wasn't paying attention where I was, duh. I'm digging this music today. And what? Call it that. Apparently, no. Yeah, that should work. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, I didn't put it under Hermit. That's why. I want this in. Yeah, no heavy metal today. I started there, but I was like, you know what? I'm just kind of in a chill mood, so chill. But don't worry, the heavy metal will be back at some point. Probably have a range of music going on, different times. Yeah, I want it in the shared. No, not in dummy. There you go. Well, this is not okay. I mean, not a problem I expected to have, but you know what? Figure it out. Oh, it's not here that the problem is. Didn't we just establish? Oh, chair fonts. There we go. Yep. I'm just doing this right, I guess. Big brain smart. See there? That's how it goes. Wrong with me today? No, I'm trying to get permissions on this. Oh, okay. It might be good if I boot my brain. Maybe so I brought my keto-friendly snacks, so maybe I need to get a little food here going. Because I'm just an idiot. It's Pucky. Yeah, I needed to do. Not in his. Sorry, don't mean to be crunching in your ear. Hungry, late in the afternoon. Time for my keto snack. All right, so we've got the fonts in there, and then what else do we need to do? Nerd font installed, enabled in your terminal. All right, how do I enable it? Do. Sudo Sudo make me a sandwich. Yeah, I wish, right? What's going on, Drew? You guys say sudo or sudo? I've heard it both ways. I say sudo, which is how I've always said it. But then Creston says sudo. I suppose an argument could be made for either, but... Alright. So... sudo. So you agree with me, Drew, right? Okay, good. Sudo! Yeah, there you go. Just like homie. Okay, cache the fonts. Da-da-da. And of course, I didn't do that quite correctly because once again, forgot the sudo. And then let's make sure they're in there. Oh, let's do it to the right bloody. What? Oh. Yep. Okay. Got him. Good. Now. Oh, not that. Starship. All right. So let us do this. CC. Add the init, my bash RC. So if you're not a Linux user, actually this works on Linux and Mac because Mac is essentially kind of a Linux backend, but the .bash RC file, if you're using a bash terminal, is kind of the control file for opening it. So there's a couple of things. That's all the standard crap. I add this at the end, so when I open my terminals, it's in my project directory. And then also we need to add this Starship. And of course, that's different if you're in ZSH. You add the same thing, but it's a ZSHRC file in bash RC. And then I think it's just all the different types of. Yep. So in theory, if I close this terminal down and then reopen it, yay, we've got it. All right, so see, it shows me which branch I'm on. Oh my God. Idiots. I hate spammers.
I don't like spam!
It tells me what version of Ruby we're on, so it's just a nice thing to have up here. I know, right, Drew? They just don't get the hint. Well, I completely blocked them this time. I think I didn't block them properly last time, but they shouldn't be back now. I mean, honestly, does anybody ever fall for that crap? I don't get it. You got to be a complete wastoid to fall for that. Anyway, let's not get old Chris on a rant tangent here. Okay, so we got that going. I love this thing, this Starship terminal, and it works across. I'm pretty sure it works in Windows too, but I've got it set up on Mac and Linux. That's where I use it because I don't do programming in Windows. All right, so let us talk about what we're going to do and why we're doing it. So the project I want to work on has to do with the fact that I play D&D and I'm a dungeon master. So yes, I'm a nerd. It's okay. We all got our nerd things. But one of the responsibilities of me doing that is there's a lot of writing and note-taking and map interaction and keeping myself straight as I'm running the game, right? So I've been using Notion, and it's a really good thing. I love Notion, right? It's a really, really nice product. The problem is it doesn't have a way for me to link things to images and maps the way I want to, and put notes to those, and then allow players to connect to things and be able to control what they can see and what they can't see, right? Because I don't know how much you know about D&D, but it's kind of like I'm in charge of creating the world, and I have all the secrets and the story laid out, and we kind of tell a story, build a story together, but they don't know all the secrets. So that's the fun of the game, is they got to figure stuff out. So I want to kind of build something like this, not because I really, really need it, but because it is, I think, a very good project to work on, to learn with, to figure out how this stuff works, because it's got a lot of different requirements. It's got a lot of, image processing and image mapping, and there's going to be a lot of front end stuff. There's going to be a lot of good database stuff. So I think it's going to be a good. Oh, you played it once, just once ever. Did you have any fun with it? Did you only do it once ever because you didn't like it, or do it once ever because you just never had another chance? Which is cool. I mean, some people just don't like it. It's not their cup of tea. Fine. But anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and browbeat people about D&D. I love to talk about it. I have fun with it. I like high fantasy and fantasy fiction and stuff like that. What I grew up on. Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff was Dragonlance, all those things is what I was reading growing up. So I'm a complete nerd. Also, if you saw when Aaron was here when we were doing the stuff, I put the back cam on, and you can see the stuff that's on my wall here. So I mean, I've got the nerd cred, right? Also, I like playing with cool stream toys. 3.5 in high school. 5 looks fun. Just haven't had a lot of chance to play. Yeah, 5 is a lot of fun because it's more streamlined. There's a lot less fiddly bits, so it's a little easier for it to be story driven than rules driven. So anyway, I thought that would be a good project to kind of work on, because we'll get to explore a lot of different areas. We'll get to have things where, there's different people are going to have different interests, and this runs a wide gamut of things, from database to front end to nested forms, all kinds of stuff. So I thought this would give people a good opportunity to try a lot of different things and get involved in things that, without having to worry about screwing something important up. We can play with PRs, we can try merges, we can do all kinds of nasty things to this, and it just doesn't matter, because A, I'll back it up, but B, it's not, if we were to destroy this forever, it's not important to anybody. Yes, the code base is open sourced. I've got it as a public code base. Why did that go away? Got to pin it. Pin this. So this is the code base here. Terrain Noob, that's me. That's my online presence. Goblin Grinder is the project we're going to be working on, and I'm opening this up to everybody. The other thing that I'm going to do, though I haven't figured out what tech I'm going to use to do it, is to let people come on live and pair program with me on certain things, right? I haven't figured out exactly the logistics of that, because I want that to kind of be open to, you know, anybody can request, hey, next Thursday, can I come on and do pair programming? Sure, let's get the links all set up and all that stuff. I can't use Tuple because this isn't a Mac and Tuple is Mac only. So I'm looking into other technologies. I would be more than happy to hear suggestions for how guys think that might work, but the plan is right now Ducky is my pair buddy, but if I bring somebody on to pair program, we'll probably bring them into Zoom for face and video or voice and video. I'll pop them right here, and then we'll just have to figure out the screen sharing stuff so that we can take turns driving the code. But I want that to be an experience people can have here too. So that's really a part of what we're trying to do here. And really, I mean, the other thing that I'm trying to do here is kind of expose myself. I want to put myself out there because you guys, if you've listened to the show, you know I've been doing programming professionally for 25 years, and Ruby for All just had an episode on imposter syndrome where people start thinking, well, there's all these really good people out there that are so good at this, and I don't know everything, so I must not be good at it. I'm just going to say right now, I don't know everything. I'm going to be looking a lot of shit up on Google. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions of chat. I'm going to have junior developers come in here, pair with me, and show me really cool stuff that I've never seen before. It's okay, right? We're all in this together. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been doing back-end programming so long that my front-end programming is rusty as shit. And you're going to see me just stumbling through all kinds of front-end stuff. Oh, speaking of which, what I want to do for the front end is I want to use Flex. I've been looking into that, and when I had a chance last night to talk to Joel Draper, who was the one that wrote it, I really am intrigued by... yeah, I don't code very well. I just Google very well. Yeah, you don't have to know code. You just have to know Google. I'm a Google master. I mean, you know, if you can't... yeah, it's impossible to hold all that info in your head. It literally is, because it moves so fast and there's so much of it. That's why there's starting to be specializations like I'm a back-end programmer. They're a front-end programmer. They're a program designer. They're, you know... And even then, you can't keep up with just your little niche. But I want to try to use Flex because I was real interested in how that worked. It works a lot better for front end to how my brain thinks. It works more like back end programming than front end barfing, because honestly, JavaScript just makes me want to die. And I'm not a big fan of ERB, and I got used to ERB, but I don't like that stuff because it's a major context switch from that kind of programming to business logic type programming. And it looks like Flex will kind of keep that context switching to a minimum, but still allow us to write front end stuff. So I'm planning to use Flex as the front end here. I haven't done any pre-design work other than thinking about what the concept of this project I want it to be, right? So I also want to give an opportunity for people to give their input on design for this thing. There's no set design. So, you know, if you want to submit a diagram to me, or submit a look of a particular screen, or say, I think the database should have this thing, or any of that kind of design work, I want to give people an opportunity to contribute that way too, so that they can practice doing that kind of thinking. So this is really all about, let's help each other be better developers and develop our careers and learn from each other and just be open with it. CSS? Yeah, we can do CSS. I mean, we will do CSS. I don't think Flex solves that problem. Sadly. But yeah, again, I got used to CSS just because I had to, but I will in no way call myself a CSS master or even mildly good at CSS. I just did what I had to. So yeah, so let's see. I can't remember if no, I didn't shortcut that. Oh, Tailwind, Bootstrap, or Vanilla. Well, all I've ever used is Bootstrap. I'm certainly willing to take a look at Tailwind. I don't know it at all, but if that's kind of the consensus on what people want to do, that's fine. I'm very open to suggestions and democratizing this. I mean, I will have a final say on things, but even when I'm doing PM work at work, I like to listen to what the people around me have to say because I don't have all the best ideas all the time. So, all right, let's see. So there is a new, I don't do the front end stuff much because I'm in back end most of the time. Most of the stuff I run is just RSpec tests. I don't run a lot of front end stuff. I know that there used to be one way to start up the Rails server, but now they've got a new way, isn't it? Like bin start or something? Can't remember. Who remembers that? The new way, the newfangled way of doing things. Bin dev. What? Here we go. You're right, C-Chat. Imposter syndrome? I think not. I'm just old, don't know the new ways. It's fine to help each other. Even with something as simple as that you would think, oh, he's a professional Rails developer, he should know that. All right, so we got that running. That's good. I don't remember if I set that up either. Apparently I did not. Okay. I'll have to set up the LVH me. But anyway, we've got our server basically up and going okay. We've got Bullet running in here, which is good. I like this thing. Extraordinarily helpful. Pin this. All right. So that's kind of the basics of what we've got going on. So what I want to do now is see if chat has any questions. You guys want to see anything? Want to talk about anything with the project? Do you need to know anything? What do you want to dig into here on this first day? Because I didn't really have much of a plan for today. This was mostly a tech test and get to know you and get to know the plan and talk about the system. So yeah, should I just play with tech stuff for a little bit? What am I using for JS bundling? Whatever Rails 7 put out. I haven't thought deep into that yet. So I just started a project with Rails 7. I haven't messed with the JS stuff. It's not something I typically think about because I don't like JavaScript. So where are we going to start planning wise? So what I typically do is I start after I've got a general overview of, yeah, I just did a Rails new. And I added sorcery in and did its setup stuff, and then I added RSpec in and did its setup stuff because I know I'm going to use things, but none of the other stuff is CSS, all that stuff. I actually prefer SCSS, so we may switch over to that, but see. Once I've got a general overview of kind of what I want the app to do, and I haven't thought huge details yet, but I start thinking about the major models I'll need and I start my design usually from a database end because that's the way my brain works. So I like to start thinking of the major models we'll need, like this will be yeah, I know. I really like sorcery. Devise was too heavy, and I'm not trying to bash Devise. Devise is a really good gem, but it was too heavy weight for me every time I tried to use it. Sorcery was much more streamlined and allowed me better control. And so I could build it up to where I needed instead of taking Devise and stripping it down. Yeah, Postgres. I use MySQL at work, but I much prefer Postgres. So if I have my choices, it's always going to be PG. Here. So yeah, I think my typical way of starting on a program is starting from the models that makes sense to me, at least the major ones. I don't try to build the entire database at once, but I start building the kind of the central models. And so since this is going to be something like Notion, and since we're going to include like image linking and stuff like that, we'll probably want to have things like page and block and comment and image or image source, that kind of stuff. So I typically start thinking in those terms as to what things am I going to have in this that'll translate to a model, right? And of course that'll expand over time. But I can usually get a good idea of what front ends I start needing once I understand what model structures I need. And I don't generally go further than just naming them to begin with. All right, I don't try to figure out all the details of what those are. I just name them. So page, right? We'll probably need a page model. I have pages of stuff. Because this is kind of a D&D thing, I would want a campaign model that is kind of the holder for all of these pages. That's my book, so to speak, right? So, if we were going to generalize it, we could call it book, but we're making a story. So because of the D&D parlance and what I'm used to calling it, I would probably call it campaign, right? And we have sessions. That's every time we get together for 2 or 3 hours and play the game. Here's all the stuff that happened in there. So want sessions, which are a subset of the campaign, and it's just both of those are just kind of collections of things. We want notes, the ability to take notes, need the ability to probably take rich notes, formatted notes, WYSIWYG stuff. We will want the ability to put comments. We will want the ability to link notes to other notes. We'll want the ability to duplicate blocks into other session groups, because I may plan out all these things, have all these notes for this particular session, and we don't get to all of it, so I want to take what's left and put it in as the start of the next one, right? Start of the next group. So we need that kind of stuff. So a good way to kind of understand half of where I'm going to is to kind of explore Notion. If you don't know about it already, just kind of explore that. Look at its kind of features and stuff, and that's kind of where we're going to drive toward for half of this. Maybe not quite that ambitious, because I don't need everything that Notion does, and I think Notion is a very sophisticated product. But there are things in there that I think would be fun to kind of unpack and figure out how they work. All right, what other questions you guys got? Oh, also, is the sound okay? Everything, the music mix nice and down?
Oh my
sound,
God, they killed Kenny.
That's not blowing your eardrums out or anything?
I don't know what y'all think, but I think that's pretty.
Sure, I've got, so back cam's working. Yep. See what I've got going on my tablet here. This is actually my control panel.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
This is all the fun toys I get to play. Then can have fun with this too. You know, whatever we wanted. I just like all the toys, you know, tech toys. Such a nerd. Which app? Base app? The one that makes me cool?
You guys are so good at that.
This is Snapcam. Yeah, you can download it, the Snap Camera app. Oh, the control tablet? Right, this thing. So this is Touch Portal program. Costs, I think, 12 bucks, 13 bucks, something like that for the full version. And I've just got it running on a tablet. This tablet right here, actually. So you can design all the buttons and stuff, and it's got all the cool things that make life easier for when you're running shows like this. And I thought it would be fun to just, you know, kind of have it up here in the corner. So if people are actually interested in streaming, or they want to think about doing this kind of live streaming stuff, which I would like to see more people doing, I think is valuable for the community and valuable for learning. They could see what I'm actually doing behind the scenes too. So this isn't some mysterious magic thing that I'm doing. It's just a bit of setup. And anybody can do it. If I can do it, Brain Dead Monkey could do it. The technology isn't the problem. It's the getting over the fear of being in front of the camera that's always the kicker for people. All right, so are there any other things that I need to do here for general setup? No, I think we're pretty good. I'm also big proponent of TDD, so the way I generally write code is I write an RSpec test first that fails, then I will write the code to make it pass. I don't backfill tests. That's not the way I like to do things, because I end up missing stuff. Now, sometimes you don't think of an edge case or something, and you have to go back and write a test for it. But the reason you found that edge case is because it's failing. So every time you got a bug, you should go write a test that reproduces the bug and then make it work. So, on that, I've got just to show you how we're going to run this. I've just got a basic thing, but I've got some controls here that'll terminal that'll just run one test at a time where I am, instead of me having to go out to terminal and type in the line numbers and all that crap. So I can just hit a button, and once Spring has loaded, it insta runs these things in the context of the code, so I don't have to do a bunch of context switching between terminal, which is nice. I can also, there's another button combination that'll let me run an entire spec file, which I can do, but that won't make any difference here because pseudo testing. So we'll be running a lot of these things. You'll see this a lot. But the test, make sure it fails. Do some code, run the test, see if it passes. I have been really enjoying VS Code. I used Sublime for many years, like since Sublime 2 first came out. Sublime 4 now, I think. But I switched to VS Code about 6 months ago, and it's doing a lot better for me and the way I program. I do have a lot of plugins to it because I like to do a certain way because I'm old and persnickety and grumpy, and it's just how I am. Uh-oh. I also need new mouse batteries. All right, what else you guys want to know? Or what else do you guys want to do? I'm changing batteries. Oh, better seeing the green light there than the red light. Now my mousey work again. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out so that I don't, just sit here and talk to myself like an idiot for 2 hours, because that happens a lot with streams. But what are you gonna?
Jeez, I'm an idiot.
Yep. All right, so what we can do is, since you're all out of questions, let's get started on a thing. Just to get started on a thing. So I want to generate a model called campaign. And it's going to have a name. And it's going to belong to a user. I think that's how you do it. Except it's not gonna. It's gonna be a model name is gonna be. I don't want to just call it user ID here and here though. I want this to be the owner ID. So if I do references, is there a way in Rails to say it references this other? Spell. Yeah, I don't. Just look at the. Last name option in the model file. Oh yeah, I know you can do it in the model file. Although I forget the specific syntax, but I think there's something you can do in the Rails generator on the model here. So I don't have to go into the file. I'm perfectly fine with doing, but since we're here, see if we can find a new trick. Yeah. I don't think it's... All right, well, I mean, homework, guys, if you can figure out a way to do that, we'll do that, but till then, just do this. Now, I'm just going to start with a name and an owner ID. And, of course, the created at, updated at stuff that it always puts in there. The one thing I can never remember is... Do I make that plural? No, I don't think so. Find out. Worst I can do is screw it up, right? Who cares? All right, got our migration, got a spec file for it. I got a factory for it. Oh, factory bot is something else I always use, so I put that in the... and I don't have a bunch of other crap going on. That's good. Got exactly what we needed. All right, so let's take a look at those. Campaign. So it belongs to owner X. Just class. Sure. Go away. Go away, stupid red line. Don't need to be there. Yeah, and I also have just the basic user thing that got created with the sorcery init script. It does all that crap. All right, so we've got this. So now I got a spec for the campaign. So let's see it. Do I have shoulda stuff in? Been a long time since I've had to set up models. Legacy code so long. Because there's nice shortcuts here where you... Yeah. Yep, I gotta migrate. Oh, I think you actually can do Rails now. Not in shoulda. Don't expect that. All right, so yeah, dummy. I spend more time fixing stupid mistakes like that than actual logic problems. Yeah, it's not class. Oh, class underscore name. Right. Thank you. Thank you, chat.
Jeez, I'm an idiot.
And it wants a string. For God's sake. Doesn't.
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
No, that's not true. Shoulda. Should. Should belong to. I don't understand the problem.
Remember all the happy times we had?
Did I not load the shoulda matchers in? It's not have. Eh.
They're very much alike.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all the happy times we had?
Still.
They're very much alike.
No, I don't want you.
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
Sworn I did this, but apparently not. Space cleaner. Sure I did. I did not. And let's try again. Okay. I think in that I have to do this part spec. No. Yeah, there you go. Foreign key option. You're right there with me, man. I'm glad I got chat here. It has a belongs to called owner. User. Sweet Lord. No, it's the simple things. It's always a simple thing. Dummy. There we go. All right. Here's how we got it correct. Specifying the default value of foreign key is redundant. No, sir, it is not. Because the test didn't frickin' like it. I don't know if I need to specify an inverse of here. Should I? I don't know. If you guys want, think about that for next week. And let's talk about whether inverse of is necessary, especially in this case. But I think what you do is that. But I don't know that that's necessary here. Find the inverse. Yeah, I don't think that there's no class called owner. Yeah, that's not terribly important. So let's spend a lot screwing around with it. All right. So what that means is the user should have an our campaigns. But I think you have to do something like as owner, something like that. I usually don't do this renaming, which is why I'm having a hard time with it, because it's, I mean, yes, it should have, that'll fail because I haven't put that in yet, but I don't think I can just do that, because it's going to be looking for a belongs to user in the campaign. That is. Right. So I have to tell it as many campaigns as. Right. I can't remember the syntax for that. Is it just the same syntax? Just this? Am I making this too complicated? Space then. I'll have to put that into. All right. Anyway, as many campaigns. Yeah. So this is not the right syntax. Send. Do, 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 do. Should be right. Just the foreign key. Last name. All right, we'll give that a shot. Probably right, Drew, because you're really smart. Look at that. Look at that, chat. Freaking on fire. I can't figure out simple shit, and you're just here writing my code for me. Should do this for actual work. Something done. Yeah, the as stuff. Yeah, for polymorphic. You're right. I was thinking as because that's how you alias things in SQL queries, and I was just doing a bunch of those today, so my brain was saying as, but you're polymorphic. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Yeah, well. Got a lot of blind squirrels. Make a hell of a program here. All right. So, I mean, we've done very basic things. All right. Let us, yeah, let's extend this one little level further. So I want to generate the next, so we said campaigns would have sessions, so, but we don't want to call it session because session is a keyword and we'll get all confused about web sessions and that'll be a mess. So we don't want to call it that. So here we go back to the naming things, which always sucks. I mean, could just call it that so that there's no ambiguity. That's a little weird. Let's call it that. That seems good. Does that seem good? I like it. All right, so what it needs is a event date. It also needs it really needs anything. I mean, we could give it a name. Good enough for now. We can always add stuff to it later. Symposium. Yeah, there you go. Oh, we didn't look at the actual migration files. So this is the one for campaigns stuff, and we're doing change, not up and down. I only ever do up and down if it's specific SQL I have to do in here, like for a view or some weird thing like that. If it's just basic create table, I just do the change. It's much cleaner and much simpler to deal with. And that's the default anyway. But if you do things that are, they have to work differently when you get rid of them, or they have to do additional things or update other stuff, you have to do a separate up and down. So try to not make it do that because it's a pain in the ass. So our play sessions. Oh, you know what I forgot? Isn't there hold on. I think there's a T references, right? I think I can do that. It takes care of all that horse crap for me. Check. Yes. Yes, I can do it. It also automatically. All right. So I wonder if I can do this without the bundle exec. Doubt. I hate typing bundle exec every frickin' time. Works like a champ. Yay. Set it up right. Okay. So now got play session. So it, that one should belong to campaign. Good. Nice. Rid of you. Don't need you. Oh, spec file. Let me do that, chat. Come on. Out for me. Oh, I'm kind of dumb. All right. Comes to that. All right, and then campaign. Which will fail. Yes. All right. So simple stuff. And I know that these tests seem a little pedantic, but I do them because even after doing stuff for this long, it helps me just kind of think and step my way through building these relationships. Also, it helps me know where I need to do research because I've forgotten all the syntax for this kind of crap that I never do. So while they're pedantic, they're very fast. Don't really add a lot to the overall run times of your test suites, even get large. And it just helps keep things together, helps you step through the thinking process. Not to mention the fact that if some knothead comes in here and accidentally does that and then commits the code, you're okay. It'll get caught before, you know, customers see that kind of stuff, because that'll completely break everything. All right, so we've got a few spec files, very basic, but hey, they're spec files, right? We've got some, say that about the deleting by said knothead. I know, right? Because we've all done it. I mean, we're about to have a show next Wednesday where people are going to tell their horror stories, and I guarantee you one of them's going to be about somebody deleting something that they shouldn't have. I'm really looking forward to next Wednesday. That's going to be so much fun. I'll have to figure out a costume, though. Just throw a sheet over my head and say boo. All right. Any questions on any of this crap? I mean, it's pretty simplistic, but there's a lot of things that actually go on in here, and I want to make sure I'm going slow enough, because sometimes I forget what I had to learn coming up through this. I don't want to make assumptions about what people know. Give everybody chances to dig deeper and ask questions if they miss something. Or tell me you're an idiot and you did this wrong, you need to fix that. I'm fine with that too. All right, I think what I'm going to do, let's do this. All right. Now, this is a lot of stuff to put in one commit. I wouldn't do this. I should have been putting commits in, but we were kind of running through it. But what I am going to do is I am going to add the Rails helper. I'm sorry, what? Oh. Dummy. So I should just have that one in there, right? Yeah. Let's commit that. Let's just make sure I've got everything set up right here. So I pushed. We should be able to see this in live stuff. Yep. Huzzah! So I've got everything hooked up right. That's a happy thing. All right. Let's go see what other commits we got to make. Changing you. Oh, yes, I did. Just going to add it all here. All right, so this is adding those two models. Campaign. All right. So, what I want to encourage people to do if they want to participate with this is feel absolutely free to add pull requests if you got something you want to take a look at that you want to do with this. Add issues if you think, hey, this would be a good feature, or hey, I think this is wrong, or I mean, put issues in there. We'll take a look at those things too. And I'll probably see them because I'll be interested offline, but I'm not going to do any work on any of these things except online, so everybody can follow what's going on. But the more people we have jumping in here and doing things like that, I think the better off we'll all be learning stuff. So feel free to go in there and work around, fork it off. Get right now, but good if you want to. All right, so there was one little other thing I wanted to tie up, and what was that? The hell was I just thinking of? Chat, what was I just thinking of that I wanted to do before we end the session? Chat, I really need you to work on that psychic monkey this week so that we have it for next Thursday, because, I mean, reading my mind would be extraordinarily helpful. Oh, take a look at the factories. So they are, if you haven't used FactoryBot before, it basically just allows you to create things with defaults, and you can create these models easily in your tests, so you don't have to do and dynamically, so that you don't have to preset data and all that mess. You can talk more about the ins and outs of that later, but that's a thing. What was I going to talk about? Dang it. Eventually we'll be seed data too, but there's a gem that I used a couple years ago that allowed you to split your seed data into different environments. So you could do a dev seed and a stage seed and have different things going on in environments. I want to find that gem because that's way better than having just a seed file. You don't necessarily want all of your seed data the same. Like typically in a dev environment, I want to be able to strip my database down and put an entire set of seed data back, so I can exercise all the stuff with the tests, with manual testing. My dev environment, have all the things to play with. My stage environment, I don't necessarily want all of that. I want some basics out there. And in my production environment, I want very minimal seeding. If I have to do seeding at all, it's usually for, you know, like default data and stuff like that. So it's good to be able to separate those seeds. There was a gem that did that. I just have to. Okay. All right, so I'll also be interested to hear what you guys would like to work on next time. You want to get into front end stuff? Do you want to start looking at controllers more? Do you want to start keep fleshing out the model thinking? Do you want to draft up actual design documents? That's something I don't typically do, but we can exercise if you want. I typically follow more of an agile approach where we have a design from a 3,000 foot view. We know what we zone to look like in product, but we don't do a bunch of detailed design documentation till we need it. because invariably what happens is you spend 3 months documenting shit and then it all changes, so you have to redocument it, spend more time doing that program. All right, so I think things are pretty in control here. All right. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy that the tech worked. We've got a good environment set up to code in. Everybody can code. I'll keep working on trying to figure out how we'll do the pair programming. We can do a lot of communication. You want to see Flex? So do I. So yeah, let's do that. In fact, Joel actually offered to come on the show and pair with me when we get to Flex. So having the guy that created the thing on here teaching us how to do it is probably going to be good, I think. So yeah, I'll think through that and see how quickly we can get Flex doing some stuff. If you have ideas for the project, please communicate through the GitHub repo. Feel free to put whatever comments you want in there. This is not a important production type thing, just for learning. So knock yourself out. So yeah, I'll look into that and see if I can. It may not get to that next week because I don't want to bring Joel on here until we're ready to do a decent bit of Flex stuff. But I'll try to get to it as soon as I can and see if I can come up with a plan to get that stuff rolling quick. Because, right, I want to see that in action too. I want to get my hands on it and start playing with it. All right. Well, any final thoughts on tech stuff or things that you had a hard time seeing or paying attention to, or any adjustments we need to make this better for viewers? Anything like that? Let me know, or you can DM me on Twitter at Ducky Dev Show. Follow us over there, and I'll be posting. I post a lot of stuff about when we're going live. Don't forget that next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're having our Halloween show. We've got a pretty fun panel of folks coming on to tell their horror story, their development horror story. And there should be costumes and beer and all kinds of good fun. So Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be back here doing this again next Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So, Colin, well, thanks for coming. I'm glad you had fun. I hope this gets fun. I know it was kind of a bit of a slow start and we didn't do a lot of actual programming, but it was an episode 0. But yeah, I'm glad I had somebody here to hang out with me, so I didn't just look like a blithering idiot talking to myself. And it was good questions too. I appreciate people ask questions. All right, thanks, Drew. Thanks for hanging out, and everybody in chat. I really appreciate you being here. Makes me feel loved. So, we will be back next Thursday. Well, we'll be back Wednesday night. Then I'll be back Thursday afternoon, and we'll have some fun. See you guys on Twitter, and if not, see you next week. Love you guys. Happy programming. Bye.